Do you ever feel like your relationships are just stuck on the surface? You crave that real deep connection with someone, but there's this invisible wall just holding you back? What if I told you that there's a simple science-backed hack that can literally rewire your brain for love? It all comes down to a tiny almond-shaped part of your brain that we call the amygdala. And one simple act that can change everything. Stick with me, okay? Because you're about to learn the scientific secret to taking your relationships from a surface level to a more profound level. Let's be honest, we have all been there. You're talking with someone you care about, and out of nowhere, a wave of emotion hits you, a flash of anger or insecurity or a surge of anxiety. What do most of us do? We pull back, we shut down, or change the subject. These are all just protection strategies to keep ourselves safe from being emotionally exposed. This creates a painful cycle for us. We want to be closer to people, but our own defense instincts keeps them further away from us. We show the world a polished version of ourselves, terrified that if people saw who we really are, they might leave. The irony is that this self-protection is the very thing that guarantees the distance we are so afraid of. This isn't some personal failing, it's our brain's biological default setting. To get why we do this, we need to take a quick trip inside the brain for a second. Tucked away in our temporal lobes is the amygdala that I mentioned earlier. So think of this as your brain's 24/7 security guard. Its main job is to scan for threats and sound an alarm. So this system was incredibly handy when our ancestors faced, saber-toothed tigers. The problem is your amygdala hasn't gotten a software update since. In a few 100,000 years, it can't tell the difference between a life or death threat and an emotional one. To your amygdala, the fear of rejection can feel just as scary as a tiger. So it hijacks your system. That's what's happening when you lash out in anger instead of saying you're hurt. But there's another key player, the prefrontal cortex, basically your brain's CEO. It's in charge of logic and reason. So the secret to better emotional control is strengthening the link between your impulsive amygdala and your wise prefrontal cortex. So how do we get our brain's CEO back in the driver's seat? The answer is surprisingly simple, and this technique is called affect labeling. All it is as simple as this: putting your feelings into words. That's it. You don't have to analyze the feeling or fix it. You just have to name it. I feel anxious right now. I am hurt. fMRI studies from Dr. Lieberman's lab at UCLA, the neuroscientist, showed us exactly what's actually happening in our brain when we are in a high emotional state and when we actually label the emotion. In this study, when people were shown pictures of emotional faces, their amygdalas lit up.